For some analysis, I'm joined now by International Affairs Editor Philip Turle. Philip, we just heard Catherine there mention the president of Ivory Coast saying there could be military action as soon as possible. What's the reality, though? Will we see some kind of military intervention anytime soon?
I don't think it's going to take place within the next few hours, Monty, because this standby force has got to be drawn up. There are pledges of support from several countries, several ECOWAS countries, willing to hand over forces. But even in those countries themselves, there's not unanimous approval for this to take place. There are forces being pledged by Nigeria, obviously, which will probably hand over most of those soldiers to the force when it's drawn up, but also from Senegal, from Côte d'Ivoire, and also from Benin. So I think that is probably where you'll see most of these forces coming from. But it's going to take time to put this together. And of course, the longer it takes to put this standby force into operation, the more time that's going to give to the junta to try to consolidate its hold on power in Niger. So really, it is a race against time. What I think we're seeing here from the part of ECOWAS is an upping of the ante, as Catherine Norris-Trent was saying, more pressure being placed on them to come to the negotiating table to move forward with some kind of pledges to work with ECOWAS. We haven't had any of those so far. And this is like, as ECOWAS has been saying right the way down the line, a last-ditch bid to get them to the negotiating table by saying, this is going to happen. If you don't do that, this will be the ultimate solution for you if you don't come to the negotiating table. So it's really a dissuasion force, a bit like the nuclear deterrent between Russia, for example, and the United States. Those bombs exist, but you don't really want to use them. And ECOWAS doesn't really want to use this standby force, but if push comes to shove, then they will.
There are a lot of players with interests here. France and the U.S. both have troops in Niger. What position are those two countries in, and do you think that they may withdraw troops from Niger?
Well, that is, I don't think that there's any plan right now to withdraw troops from Niger. It depends on what the military junta tells those countries to do. Remember that French forces were in Mali. They've been forcibly removed by the putsch leaders in Mali, so that may come to be what happens in Niger as well. But they're not there to try to control the political situation in Niger. The French forces are in the country to fight against the jihadist movement there. So if the putsch leaders do ask them to go, or US troops as well, 1,000 or so US troops based there, then they're going to make it a field day for the jihadist movements from Al-Qaeda or Islamic State, who will be given much more freedom to do what they like and cause trouble in the country. So that is something that I think the coup leaders know. And the other big question right now is whether the United Nations would get involved in any sort of standby force. They might want to, the United States might want to, the European Union, France, other countries, but they may have to go through the UN Security Council, and there they might find there's a motion against them by two of the five permanent members, notably China and Russia, in a sort of tit-for-tat payoff to those nations for wanting to take part in that standby force. So this is not happening anytime soon.
Okay, International Affairs Editor Philip Turle. Philip, thanks as always for your expertise.